Now I gotta get a new song. I totally forgot.
One is a little played out.
Well, this used to be spooky and like Halloween kind of.
I mean, I'm okay with sticking with spooky.
Well, I'll find something new. This is the first new news show of the new year. This is the Brian Moreno Show with the one and only Dr. Abby.
Hi.
In studio for the news, Richard Sarvate. And I'm your host in the mind of the madness, I suppose, the center of the rabbit hole. I will find a new opening song. If you are... This is a news show that started out just as like kind of news with a guest, and now that pandemic is raging and everything is very shut down, we are limited in the studio, so I'm thankful for both of you joining me. And I've been trying to figure out how to explain this show because some people seem to really like it and get it, and other people don't seem to get it. And I think it's because we have been so programmed to get our news like this total, biased one side or the other, news, filter, or we have this local news, which is all sensationalized. Robbery, murder. No, if you want to hear about storming the Capitol, I'm sure the O'Reilly Factor has it. Is that back on the air? He's back on somewhere.
No.
He's not? Maybe on YouTube?
So.
Maybe he's got a YouTube channel.
Maybe he stormed the Capitol.
No, so you'll hear your news here, but this is news through this is news that's been left out. This is news for like the underdog. This is news.
The wallflowers.
Well, I don't know that reference, what that means exactly, but this is for those news stories that get brushed under the rug. We're trying to unbrush here. If you saw the floor right now, you would understand. No brushing going on.
Bill O'Reilly does have his own, I guess, website news.
See? Boom. If you want to go.
Where it looks like he hates everybody. Like the left and the right. Maybe I should get into this.
Now, is it a pay site? Is Bill?
No, it looks like it's open for business, come one, come all.
So Bill is doing well enough that he doesn't have to charge for his commentary anymore.
Or maybe no one will pay for it.
Which is possible.
The other possibility.
Now, Doctor.
Yes.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, both of you. We haven't been in this room, right? The three of us, we have not done a show. Am I correct?
You are correct.
Okay, well.
Verified.
The world's getting a nice view of your...
Oh, this is a live show.
We bear all.
Well, this is a live show. There's a lot. Well, not a live, but I don't edit it. This is a very...
My glow is back, so I like it.
So your glow is back. But this is a show for the underdog.
Sure.
And that's why this show means so much to me, because the news is a very important thing in this world, and so is my commentary. Like this is a mix of everything that I think is right, but that the local news has become so sensationalized it's hard to watch. It's all about murder on the corner.
I think it's been like that for a long time.
Sure, and I haven't liked it for a long time.
Childhood.
I haven't liked it for a long time. And that's why this show, this is a real news show. But also...
I'm starting to think maybe I don't even get it. And I'm in it. But I like it.
Well, no, it is.
I think that counts for a lot, yeah.
Well, it is either way. It is fun, and it is meaningful in some... in some subversive way, it is very meaningful, right?
I can always agree with that.
Well, I like to think of this show as like Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill, you know? And when the rock gets to the top, it rolls back down and he's got to push it back up again.
Well, this show is, I mean, it's never ending.
But that's like
Good
all news.
stories.
Yeah.
Never ending. Why don't you start us out, Doctor?
Okay. Another notorious super spreader party has been busted in South Los Angeles.
Oh, I thought this was going to be an Alabama celebration.
Okay.
So this was advertised online as a swingers party.
Ooh.
And I think the commentary in this article is so funny because it was like, this time it was surprisingly not teenagers and young people, but older, middle-aged partygoers.
Oh, my.
And apparently the sheriff's department has a super spreader task force, which is targeting all these parties and breaking them up. But the video shows some very disgruntled, you know.
This is beautiful. Here's the video.
It's in night vision. That's great.
Yes,
Yeah.
they busted all these people at a swingers party. Alex Michelson, he seen me perform a few times.
Oh.
Yes, but look at these people all getting busted. Yada da, yada da. Let's get to the video. Here we go.
There's some good outfits coming out of there.
Yeah, like look at these people. They were all like.
They were ready to roll. Like
They
they
were-
show inside there's like beds and condoms.
Did you see that woman's hair? She was She was
It
going.
was a sex
gosh.
party.
Yes, she looks ready for
And then
sex.
some people are real mad that they're filming them.
Kim, this is such a buzzkill. Imagine you're about to get laid. You're about to go to an orgy and it gets busted.
You know, it's a buzzkill dying in the hallway of a hospital because no one followed the rules.
I mean, I guess you're kind of killing my buzz right now.
Exactly.
Well, now I have to say, when a cop busts an orgy party, like you don't want to be on the front lines. Like you don't want to be rolling in when people
Like
are
first in.
are activated in consensual sex. Like,
Yeah, you don't want to see an angry man with a boner.
No, you don't want like you want this guy right here. Let's check
The
out
cleanup
what's
afterwards.
what was in this room now that the lights are on. Look at
Gross.
you don't want to be the first in. No,
COVID.
look, they had a cage.
Well, it looks kind of fun.
I mean, non-COVID. So look at this guy. Look at this guy. It's like, no, honey, no. He's
No, he's not part of the party.
They're handing masks out. I like that.
see. The thing is, you know, a lot of these cops were laughing like they can't under
Of
the
course.
mask.
I mean, it's hilarious.
Under the mask, there's a lot of these cops going like, I don't want to touch him. I don't want to do that. Like,
It's true. And
This
then
is-
the guy says the website still has more ads for more parties this weekend.
locally in LA,
Yeah.
because
think
I
it's
know
like-
in the state of Missouri, there's no restrictions. This would be
But
totally legal.
My question, is an orgy party like that legal anyway?
Why not?
I don't know.
If
I mean,
it's
if you're
con-
paying.
If it's consensual sex amongst
I guess.
adults,
Everyone there.
well, I don't know what municipal
Yeah, like the
law.
ordinances.
Yeah,
are.
there might
Is
be
it
some
zoned
local-
for that. I don't know.
I would hate
You
for
might need
someone,
a permit.
the one person in Missouri, whoever hears this, be like, no restrictions.
Yeah, where's the orgy alarm?
Now, that party looked great.
It was very green.
Well, because that's the
I
night
know.
vision. Okay. Doctor,
Yes.
do they do any? I feel like a party like that in non-pandemic times should require a doctor on staff.
That sounds like a nauseating job. But
That's-
nothing like what would a physician do? Like you would need everyone should see their doctor before and after a party like that.
Okay, though there are parties like that in Jamaica every year called hedonism.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's a club.
And one of my cousins, to name, well, I don't know what
Richard
It was-
seems a little too familiar with
No,
this party.
I had an Uber driver who told me about he goes to hedonism every year, and he actually goes to hedonism 2 now. There's a second resort, and he says go to hedonism 2.
Well, yeah, I think I've actually heard of that.
Yeah, and he says that he takes his wife every year, and they just go and they fuck
They
a bunch of
enjoy
people.
the other people.
See,
Yeah.
this is my cousin would go with his friends. They would go down there, singles, no women. They would find local prostitutes, take them back to the room, shower them, pick the hair out, make them look like Beyonce or whoever.
Pick the hair out.
Yeah, seriously. And then bring those girls down to the party
And what?
and pass them off. Be like, oh, I'll have sex with your wife.
Oh.
You have sex with my lovely wife. And you're
That's a great idea.
having sex. which I heard they did so much that it became very raw in the lower area, which I have to say was one, because I heard this when I was a very young, very youthful, like there's a lot of youthful exuberance in adolescence. And when I heard what it did to his private area, I would promised I would never do anything like that in my life. And I've stayed true to it. But that's the thing. I feel like the amount of germs that gets passed in a party like that should not be acceptable even in non-pandemic times.
Well, I think I agree with you. But I would say hedonism's advertisement of how much you can let loose is slightly tempting because it says give up counting calories.
Ooh.
But I feel like this is a nude resort, and if I'm going to be nude the whole time, I'm definitely going to be counting calories.
It's a nude resort?
Yeah, it's a clothing optional resort.
Well, so you can wear clothing. That's what
Yeah, but
that's
why are you going there if you're going to wear? But I guess to look at. I have found that always the clothing optional places are the people you don't want to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you're picking up a band of prostitutes to pass off as your wife.
Don't look at me when you say that.
No, no,
Say
no,
you, 'cause
No.
it's
I'm
not
just saying
doctorly
that
activity.
that is.
Did you say a band of prostitutes? Is that the
Well, it's a
collective pronoun?
group. That's what. Yeah, like
Yeah,
like.
is it like a gaggle or something?
What is a gaggle?
A
Geese?
I think.
Yes, I think you're correct.
A murder of ravens or something?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what a band
Oh,
of
it's a murder of crows. I'm sorry, I misspoke.
4 or more local prostitutes. They can't.
Yeah.
They
What
can't
if
be.
they're foreign prostitutes?
Well, no.
Is that
Well,
a
they
different
can't be
nomenclature?
brought in from out of state or
They're
country.
non-exotic.
Yeah, like local, like whatever
straight
the
up.
local nomenclature is, they fall within that.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so see, you wanted hard hitting news. You wanted
They just learned about
you
a place in Jamaica that you can go to. Fuck
wanted an
naked.
explanation on what this show was. It is wild, wacky news. That like I got to get a better name for it because this is a lot of fun.
Wild wacky news with Brian Moreno.
Now, Doctor, what do you got?
Okay, I'm just going to make a disclaimer
Yes.
that this story is biased.
I wanted to hear what you thought about
Okay.
the story.
So this story is from Fox News, and it's from an episode of Hannity that features this guy who is, I think, Charlie O'Keefe, who runs this right-wing propaganda machine, Project Veritas, who claims to be a place for whistleblowers to out, like, the left bias of big media companies. I'm glad you're chuckling. But they got a clip from a staff meeting at Twitter, and one of the employees recorded Jack Dorsey, the CEO, talking about the Trump ban and how that it is just the beginning and actions will be much bigger than the Trump ban.
Would you like me to play it?
I mean, you can choose to play it or not. Not my preference.
Oh, that is an advertisement. Here we go. I love the music. It should be my entrance song.
Yeah, I love it. It's like a horror movie.
Okay, there's not really much to it.
I think this is totally appropriate. I think that social media companies have been complicit in spreading disinformation and promoting it, and I think what he's doing is right. I don't see how this is scandal or requires whistleblowing.
Okay, the only issue that okay, look. I'm very, very upset with the events that happened in the Capitol. I believe it not only casts such a horrible light on America, it is so opposite of what this country really stands for. Like, freedom of speech means 90% freedom, 10% is usually crazy. And unfortunately, on that day, the 10% not only shat on our democracy. I think Donald Trump, it was very horrible for him to incite that in any way as the leader of the free world. It was beyond reconcilable in my eyes. And I think he might actually do jail time sometime, somewhere. Like, there are going to be people that hawk him.
I think the point from what I see from this video is he knows he's complicit in all of this.
I think
because that was not just 2 months or 1 week or one speech. That has been years of impunity of lies and spreading of disinformation facilitated and promoted by social media companies. And it is tearing apart our society. And he recognizes that, and he's trying to do something to fix it.
Well, I think Jack Dorsey I think he has stayed.
I think Mark Zuckerberg should be doing something like this.
Well, I think Mark Zuckerberg has always been less in touch with.
He's a robot.
Who
also wants world domination for himself.
Sure, but there are people who've proven less empathetic throughout their life. That's all. And Jack Dorsey has stayed pretty true to he didn't invent Twitter to become the behemoth in disinformation that it has. He absolutely did not. He's spoken about that, but he had to stay out for a very long time. There is always a point of no return. And I think it is absolutely disgusting that people, including Donald Trump, can act like there are no repercussions to actions. Because, unfortunately, there are. And we have become a society where people think there are no repercussions to actions. And I enjoy that he has been disciplined in this way, in his favorite medium to talk, because, he incited people to do things that they thought there would be no repercussions. And not only does it disgust me and it upsets me, I believe that this is a small step in the right direction. I don't know if Facebook has the balls to do anything, but it's become such a disgust. Like,
I mean, even today, they are still having advertisements targeting military-style equipment to, like, right-wing extremists. Like, there's so much about it that is promoting these tears in our society.
Okay, that's not only a terrible example, because if a person wants to purchase a gun, and they should be allowed to, unfortunately, those are the the rules of the land. I saw that the NRA, this is not a news story, to file for bankruptcy. It's probably just to reorganize.
Well, so the New York Attorney General has been targeting them for abusing certain rules about being a nonprofit, and they're losing a lot of funding. And so they're filing for bankruptcy and going to restructure and move everything to Texas. But regardless of the story that they're telling, they're not doing well, is the bottom line.
Well, I associations that are very top heavy like that, where people get, like the money that they distribute in lobbying is astronomical, and there has to be some accountability for that money spent. And I think the Attorney General is probably doing a good thing. That being said, it is still the American right to own a gun.
Sure.
So you must understand that our economy was also built on advertising. And there is nothing like Facebook when it comes to advertising. You can target down to a specific demographic. And yes, unfortunately, that a lot of these people who are buying these guns, they have some very skewed views of what is right and wrong.
Well, part of the problem there is that they believe a bunch of lies that people should start to admit are lies.
I mean, they're targeting me unfairly, too. They keep on sending me, like, Himalayan salt lamps and stuff like that, and they know I'm going to buy it, too.
You look like a Himalayan salt lamp guy.
You wouldn't imagine the advertising that I get. You wouldn't imagine. It's
probably, like, long telescopes.
Yeah, well, this is a whole nother episode of the Brian Moreno Show on telescopes.
Let me tell you a thing or two.
All right, so Richard, what do you think about the president being banned on Twitter?
Yeah, I think it's great, and I actually am surprised that Twitter had the balls to stand up to him. I thought they were just going to push it, roll over and take it. I don't think Zuckerberg's going to have the balls to do it. I mean, he's in the shareholders' pockets right now, and the shareholders just want to see earnings go up every quarter, and that means spreading disinformation.
And people dying.
Hey, to make a little bit of money.
Yeah, it's just very unfortunate, the position that Facebook has put us and itself in. Because it does serve a purpose for a great number of people, but it is the sword that can aim so precisely and just nick by 1,000 by 1,000 cuts.
Facebook is like those guys from Duck Dynasty. It's like they just need to die and get the new generation.
I've only seen one episode. I've seen more advertisements for Duck Dynasty than episodes.
They're people that are not savable. You know what I mean? Or if you're like 80 years old.
Why do the Duck Dynasty people need saving?
I don't know very much about Duck Dynasty.
I don't either. That's why I'm asking.
They don't want to be saved for sure.
Saved from what? Ducks?
They love guns. They're very nationalistic.
Oh, okay.
Now, you do say, Doctor, they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a little late.
It's late, yeah.
But at least it's happening.
I mean, okay, so Trump's second impeachment, what does that mean? He doesn't get travel expenses for the rest of his life?
Well, it depends if they convict him or not.
Okay.
If they don't convict him, it just means that he goes down as only president ever impeached twice. If they do convict him, they can strip him of his post-presidential perks, like Secret Service, travel, pension, and they can bar him from ever running for office again. And I think that is a twinkle in Mitch McConnell's eye, potentially.
Even that's not enough, though. You know, like he needs a.
Well, I think part of what it may be getting him into trouble that's starting to come out now is that a lot of the participants who are caught, their lawyers are saying Donald Trump told him to do it.
Trump made me do it.
They're throwing him under the bus and making it look really bad for him. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. You know, I think that the Republican senators are going to wait and see whether or not throwing him out benefits them politically or not. And I think
that's a great point. It is about right now the Republicans have to position themselves to get reelected, and they have every move they make is how is it going to play?
I think a lot of the Republicans in the House would have voted for impeachment, but they were scared into not doing it because they are up for re-election much sooner than senators, and they're getting all the death threats that people on the left used to get from the Trump supporters. So a lot of them got bullied into, you know, saying, oh, it's time for unity, blah, 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 blah. The real path to unity is Trump admitting that he's full of shit and that he lost and telling his base that it was a big lie and that Biden is an actual legitimately elected president and let's unite behind him. That's the real path to unity. But the Republicans are just trying to say, oh, like, let's move on. Let's not divide the country further as some way to just try to under the rug it. But you can't just under the rug this. It's going to fester. People still believe this.
Yeah.
But the senators are a little bit more immune to the waves of the day because their terms are longer and they aren't fixed in one congressional district. They have whole states to look at. So I think it'll just depend on how it plays out. If it was a secret vote, they would convict him in a minute.
Now, let's get to...
Yeah, I think it's hard to avoid these topics.
No. This is this is a real news show. I can open up with a super spreader. Yeah. Super spreader orgy anytime, okay?
This group is highly informed.
Well, and not only are we informed, I think a lot of the news that we all have different positions on things, and I think a lot of the news that people get is very one color of the rainbow. And this show brings you all the colors.
The whole
yes,
damn
even
rainbow.
the ultraviolet.
This show will burn your ass.
So our next story is actually some of the, I don't know if I want to call them highlights. Maybe.
Oh, these are some gems.
These are some lowlights.
Some
okay,
gems.
Brian, do you want to choose one?
Okay, well, no, these are. This was a wonderful article by the Telegraph about some of these. This is what they considered
the classic tweets.
The top 10. The top 10 Donald Trump tweets. Now, I had to make sure some of these were real because I forgot about some of these. About
do you think someone's gonna like compile them and like you can like buy the book, like the tweets of Trump's presidency?
Well, I'm sure there's probably.
Right? I feel like you're gonna be able to purchase that.
100%.
Actually,
open up
I would love like a
hardcover
for my coffee table.
Just,
you know,
pick one a day, a calendar, tweet of the day.
Oh yeah, 365.
Right? Yeah,
just
365.
you rip it off.
Yeah, exactly.
My two greatest assets have been mental stability and being like really smart. Clinton, Hillary Clinton also played these cards very well. Very hard. And as everyone knows, went down in flames. I went from very successful businessman to top TV star to president of the United States on my first try. On my first try. I think that would qualify as not smart, but genius. And a very stable.
Very stable, right?
Genius
like it's like you're overdoing it so much.
Yeah.
No, he's got to type these himself. He's got to.
No, he's typing them on his phone. That's why they all have like spelling errors and like weird capitalizations. Like no one could get between Trump and his Twitter account.
See, these ones right here get me very upset when he's like, liberate Minnesota, liberate. Now that's...
It's inciting.
You know, that's crazy. Like,
Was
I
there a
mean,
time, like,
there is a clear divide in this country, and there are a lot of people who feel as if their voice, like, they are not heard. And I hope, God, I'm telling you, you are heard. You are. There are people listening. God, you just don't have to resort to violence. And you don't. You don't. And that is part of the reason why democracies fail. It is because people resort to things like this. And
I think we should at least, take heart that so far democracy is holding.
So far, I just don't like it's gonna break. I just don't want to be around when it does.
Yeah. I think we got about 50 more years, and I'll check out.
Okay,
by then.
yeah, I mean, whatever. Like, I hope.
I think we got 50 more. I think my kids will have to deal with
with a whole new country. With Mad Max, with Terminator 2,
I mean,
3, 4.
I'll be going to my backup citizenship country before then.
Well, Terminator. Did you ever see Terminator? Those cyborgs were everywhere.
Yeah, I'm just saying, in 50 years, I'll just tell my kids to go to Copenhagen or whatever. And
Did he really tweet Big Pratt today in Philadelphia at 4 Seasons total landscaping?
I think so, because the tweet before was that he said the 4 Seasons, but it wasn't at the 4 Seasons.
Oh, yeah, the 4 Seasons.
The 4 seasons total landscaping. That was probably my favorite news story.
Wait, so he actually tweeted
that?
Year. He tweeted total landscaping?
I didn't see
that's where it was at.
Yeah.
It was. They accidentally
they booked the wrong place.
But I didn't know that he actually tweeted it.
Yeah, because he wanted people to go.
Wow. So he just owned it. He's like, okay, well, it's at the landscaping place. That's
I don't understand. I don't know. Some people's motivations, especially when you get in power, I feel like that your grip gets so tight that you don't want to lose the power, that you start to become delusional.
Oh, yeah.
I don't particularly understand that delusion.
I think he was close to delusional already.
Was there a breaking point? Because I've watched interviews of him from the 80s, on Letterman or something, and he seems sane. Like, was there a point where he, lost his marbles?
I didn't follow. I would say maybe, reality TV.
Yeah, I think reality TV is when he
probably
went crazy.
Reality TV, because he already was such an egomaniac, and it just fed into that it spiraled.
Yeah.
And then he found news and tweeting, and it just became an obsession.
Yeah, because he actually sounded reasonable in the interview. I was like, yeah, this guy seems like a nice...
Well, he doesn't drink, so you got to do something.
So just attention.
Yeah, just become addicted to attention.
Yeah, that's true.
Anything
if you're sober, you're
normal. Right. Yeah, I just hope it ends peacefully. That's the one thing that I get scared about sometimes. Is some of the social unrest that's also caused by unemployment, by COVID, by times being what they are.
There are plans to fix those things, at least.
It kind of blows my mind that the Capitol was actually stormed, because all this time I never really thought anyone believed the stuff he was saying. I just thought they all thought, yeah, this is our guy, let's support him.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. That's the thing that's so upsetting and insidious. Is that that's why it's the responsibility of social media companies and news media, because if you only get your information from Fox News nighttime, daytime was more acceptable, but from Fox News nighttime and Facebook, you are only fed things that parrot everything that he says.
Yeah.
And now it's just what he says, and then people go make evidence, and then they disseminate. And so if you are in this endless feedback loop of Trump information, Trump propaganda, people believe it. You watch the news, and you look at the video of people from the Capitol, they're like, they mirror things he says with people repeating it. Mm-hmm. He's like, they stole it from us. This was stolen from us. That's our house. Take it back. This is our house. We're going to take it back. And that's the stuff that they're going to show in the trial, is that he is 100%. Those people would never even been there if it wasn't for him.
I don't know if the trial ever really happened.
I think it will.
But I think the second impeachment basically confirms.
It's going to happen.
I think
Well,
the second.
it has to happen because they're not sending it over until Chuck Schumer is the majority leader and he's going to be in charge of the agenda. So it's going to happen. They can't block it.
Can you, president that's not...
Yes. Yes, you can. They have impeached people that have already resigned and been out of office. And so the fact that he was impeached while still in office 100% means you can have a trial after they're out of office.
Well, it's not the last you heard of this story. All right, doctor, what you got next?
Okay, Joe Biden is going to take over the POTUS account.
Oh, it's going to be very different.
I didn't really understand why, but because of the handoff issues, they're going to go to 0 followers.
Yeah, he goes down.
So
he's getting the president's account 0 followers.
0 followers. Yeah, so I guess the POTUS one started with Barack Obama because he was in office when Twitter started. And then he had 13 million when Trump came to office. So he inherited those. And now it's got like 90 million followers. And then it's going to go to 0.
Yeah, but and they're what's even sadder.
Like, you can tag stuff.
Yeah, they're trying to tell him, well, you should tag people
for
get
engagement.
To get.
Right?
He's got to work on his metrics.
Yeah, it's like he's like a struggling comedian trying to get some likes.
This article made me laugh so
Now he knows what
much.
it's like. Now they know.
Yeah, like this is a big.
I mean, the thing is, it's like it shouldn't matter. That's not how the president should be putting out information. You know, he has a press room.
That's true.
You know, let's go back to normal, right?
But
like
I think
some semblance of sanity. Whereas, Trump
went
to Twitter. Sorry,
I'm just saying people are not going to the press room like a 13-year-old is not going to look at a briefing or whatever. They're only going to look at Twitter, right?
Well, maybe we should do something to change that.
Brian, what should we do to change that?
Yeah, I'm not the one proclaiming this. Okay, because
but it's like a necessary evil, right?
Pandora's box has already been opened. Okay,
exactly right.
So the bomb's already gone off, right? Like you can't put it back together.
They should be tweeting videos of press conferences. They shouldn't be tweeting from the toilet covfefe.
Okay,
well, I think Biden will be doing that.
Yeah,
one solution is you should apply or press secretary or social media liaison
to President Biden.
This show is too much fame for me.
Tag this show. Tag this show, though.
I think if I did make it up there, this show would get a lot of traction. So
I would love you to tag the show when
I run the POTUS account.
Yeah, when you're at the top of the mountain. Like you to remember the little people.
My origins.
Yeah, I would really like that.
How many followers do you think Joe Biden will get in his first?
How quickly? Yeah. Okay.
Let's bet on it. Over under.
Okay. Barack Obama had 13 at the end. Trump got it up to 90.
Well, I know Trump had 90 himself. I'm not actually sure on that number for the POTUS account. Biden already has 24 million followers on his personal.
Already on his personal.
Yeah.
Oh, but not the POTUS.
Yeah.
They want him to tag. That's why the White House.
Yeah.
Probably the White House press person's like 0 people. You want me to tweet to 0? He's White House press person's like, I have 240
is it
on my account.
Is it at 0 followers right now? I just want to check.
Oh, well, so he has President-elect Biden, which will transform into POTUS, and it gained in its first hours 400,000 followers. So I think he'll be fine. That's the thing. He doesn't care about followers. Who cares?
The people that work for him.
Okay, sure. I think we got to get away from followers.
Well, I haven't posted on social media in over 3 months.
Again.
Well, don't be sad. Don't be saddish. Have a radish. I mean, is that out of boycott? Out of
slightly boycott, because I just hate how erratic the views are. Instagram doesn't even show your videos to everyone that's following you.
Yeah, it's super weird. I mean, it's
Mark Zuckerberg.
It's a very interesting system right now because Instagram is becoming so much more embedded in Facebook now.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the same thing.
Well, that's the thing. It didn't used to be.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg bought it.
But here's the thing. The social media, the calling is like, okay, anybody could become famous if they wanted to. But it's not true. Like, they give you little breadcrumbs, They go like, hey, look how many followers you're getting. Look how many followers. And then you post something and not everyone sees it. Social media is just like a big ruse right now.
It is a ruse.
Yeah. Especially for like up and coming entertainers, it's like very disheartening.
Well, I think the business has always been disheartening for up and coming entertainers. I don't think that's social media.
Yes, well
I think
before
that's just the
social.
business. I'm sorry, I hate to
It's
break
been
it
a
to you.
trail of tears since well before Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg. It's like this whole business got hard with social media. Like it was always hard.
Always difficult.
All right, Doctor, what you got next?
Okay, next story.
This is
I
great.
think this might be our last Capitol-related story, but
Yes.
a Trump supporter who was
This lady,
seen on
look at
video
her.
being punched by a black security officer. Well, I don't want the headline just says she's terminated from her job, but the story has so much more meat than that.
Well, go
because
ahead. Do you tell? Yes.
She was. This image of her with a bloody nose was spread,
Mm-hmm.
and who recognized it? Her estranged lesbian daughter, who then
Mm-hmm.
outed her on Twitter by naming her and her uncle. It's like, oh, hey, Mom, remember the time you told me I shouldn't go to the BLM protest because they could get violent? Is this you? And put her full name, and then the hospital that she worked at is like, we fired this person.
Wow.
Yeah. So don't kick out your lesbian daughter because it might come back to bite you in the butt. When you go to a Trump rally.
Now she got won. Did you see the punch here, Richard? I'll pull this up on the big screen. Here you go. This is quite like I was very impressed with this. Okay, look, pow. Pow. She like this woman. What? Don't touch me.
Oh.
Yeah. And this woman, like, she shouldn't have been touching. And look at these people trying to manhandle her. Like, this is crazy.
But this
It's like, it's absolute. Look at this. Absolutely nuts.
wait, is this at the Capitol?
Yes.
So wait, she's a Trump supporter? She's
Yes.
a black Trump supporter?
No, no.
Oh,
The Trump supporter is the mom. They got
Oh.
punched.
Yeah.
Look at this guy with the cigarette. I get totally. I hate to see it. So this
I
one.
can't believe they were able to organize. Isn't that crazy that they managed to storm the Capitol? I mean,
I mean, it wasn't It was just too many people. It was, and the Capitol was just unprepared.
Oh no! What gets me upset is the FBI. This is what
They knew.
Okay, well,
They were like, we had all this chatter.
okay. When you say that, like they knew, it's one thing to have information, but it's another thing to actually use the information. And if you don't put any action behind it, the information
That's
is
my point. Is that they
is
didn't do
nothing.
anything about it.
Well, it's not that they didn't. It's why. It's very upsetting why. Like there has to be, if they had actionable intel, you must act, or someone is not, or they're not doing their job, or they're purposely trying to sabotage. I don't know, but
There's a lot of different angles that you could look at it. Either,
the FBI,
the FBI is under the president and they don't want to piss off the boss who this is for. Or they want to let it get bad so that people see. You could argue it either way.
I don't know, but I find that the most troubling and a story that has not been touched on enough because there's a lot of people.
Well, I think that there's a lot of people asking that question.
Not on the news
Yeah.
that I mean,
I think I may watch even more news than you do, and I think there are a lot of people asking that question.
Well, it's a good point.
Because they're like, it was out there. They were on social media. People are like, we're going to storm the Capitol, do this, do that, right in the open. And the FBI had reports, and they found it. They're like, oh, there's like significant risk. And I think that people are calling for an investigation into why it was so poorly coordinated. Even the Capitol Police had it. But there are, black officers of the Capitol Police saying that it's been a toxic environment with, preference to white officers for a long time. And so who knows if they just didn't want to target that because they agree with it to some extent.
Well, one thing also is that but Trump supporters are always saying crazy shit, right? So it's like, maybe it's like they didn't know, like, oh, are they serious this time? You know what I mean? Like, they're always nuts.
I don't.
So I mean, I don't know. Maybe they just thought like, oh, they're just screaming again.
I don't know.
I couldn't never explain someone's motivation to like harm another person like blindly like that, or to damage.
You've never wanted to blind someone. You've never wanted to damage another human being.
Oh, of course I have, but not in a riot type of environment, not in a mob setting.
I think you've also never been part of a group like this.
Sure, I've not
like
been much of a group guy like that. Yeah, I'm not.
But like this group has also been, far right extremists.
Yeah, but I don't do well in groups. I couldn't even go to Coachella or anything.
All these groups have come together under Trump, and it has become this cult-like mentality.
Yeah. Well, I mean, mob mentality is a real thing.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
It is
fun,
and that's why I'm saying I don't have that gene.
I'm like at the back of the bus, being like, "This is lame. I want to."
Well, no, I just don't have that gene. Well,
you're an independent thinker, and that's why you do this show.
That's why I can't even explain this show. All right, what do you got next, Doctor?
Okay, moving on to lighter fare.
Yes.
Chris Rock has re-edited and re-released one of his comedy specials. And the New York Times did a piece on the change. And the original one was directed by Bo Burnham, who made it seem like this intimate and did this sort of artsy commentary on some of the stuff. And he's sort of taken all that out, made it much more of a classic type of comedy show, like added in all these bits and pieces, made the part where he talks about cheating on his wife a little bit less profound and lighter. And I think the Times is sort of saying like the original is better, but I think maybe it was a little too introspective for Chris Rock. So
yes, Bo Burnham directed it, and
with the tambourines in the back.
Yeah, but he made it super kind of artsy.
Yeah. Well, because I mean that's the thing. He's a film director, right? So he found it and made a story.
But does Bo direct films? I don't know what Bo.
I don't think Bo.
Yeah.
But
I don't know his IMDb.
But Bo has directed some other specials too. Like he directed Gerard Carmichael's,
which was maybe one of the worst.
The Gerard's second special. Which one are you talking about? The one
the Comedy Store one.
No, that was his first one. Yeah.
But how was the second?
The second one was it was directed well. Once again the material was. It made it seem very heavy and artistic, and
he makes movies. He makes comedy, but he also makes movies.
Well, that's wonderful. No, I mean
I think maybe it was hit a little too deep for Chris, and he wanted to redo it.
I wonder because Bo Burnham, like his specials, he knows how to edit a comedy special, because he makes them.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I think Chris Rock is probably a little upset with that special because everyone was kind of like, wait, we want the old Chris Rock. We don't want this intimate Chris Rock.
Yeah, so this goes back to that. So
yeah, but I just don't know if that's possible because the old Chris Rock in a leather jacket, like screaming. I just don't know if you could take that special tambourine and make it into
I mean,
that.
watch the new one and let us know.
I guess try.
We want the Richard Sarvate interpretation.
Yeah,
I'm definitely going to be watching it.
he's great. He's Chris Rock's absolutely great. I just don't recall liking or disliking it the way it was but I would like to see how Chris would want it to be presented, because as a comedian, I think comedians should probably edit their own stuff, because when other people edit it, they just don't know the beats.
Oh, yeah.
I always find that when other people edit your material, they're just hitting different beats, and it's like, that's not how I'm trying to say it.
Yeah.
That's not, and especially when you're editing live comedy, the transition is super difficult. It is so hard to film comedy and make it look like good and funny at home the way you feel it in the audience. It rarely ever equals. You know, like sometimes you can get like great stand-up, like you can get some really good comedy, but can you really encapsulate the tightness of the ceiling, the smallness of the room, the way laughter has kind of overtaken you like a wave? Like, that's almost impossible.
I think Todd Barry did a good job with his crowd work tour, because doing an all crowd work special, you really felt what it feels like to be in the room. Like, it felt like those things were happening right then, you know?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And Todd Barry special?
Yeah, it's just called the crowd work tour.
I've never seen it, yes, but I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's great. He'll just talk to people, be like, what do you do? Like, I play in a band. Ooh, a band. That's kind
I
of
think now I think I have seen it, because that's a great impersonation. But yeah, that's a band. And while he's thinking of what to say
exactly.
about
Yeah.
what kind of band?
What kind of band?
Yeah, like I
The two guys are sitting with a seat in between them, and he's like, "Why the seat in between you guys?" He's like, "Is that the bassist? He didn't want to come." It really feels like you're there, because I think it's probably because the way he whispers too and stuff.
I like that creepy whisper. I think it's funny. Now I gotta watch this too.
Yeah, it's really funny.
All right, Doctor, what you got next?
Okay, we had another political post sneaking in, but this is
No, not really. I mean, this is
a little bit.
Okay, it's a political post, but I want people to know that this is real.
What, the effort to recall Gavin Newsom?
Goddamn right.
Oh, yeah. Well, people are pissed off at the restrictions and the hypocrisy with the French Laundry dinner.
Well, the wine, the French.
And that did not. I listened to a talk radio station in L.A., and some of them really hate Gavin Newsom. And they talk about the effort to recall him all the time.
Well, it's a real thing.
Yeah, no, they're collecting petitions.
They have 1 million.
Yeah.
They have 1 million. You got to get to
there's
1.5.
There's this one guy who stands on the side of the road asking for signatures.
All day.
Because he lost his job. I mean, I think it's sad, you know.
Well, look, okay.
California has a tough situation to deal with.
Well, California is basically 3 different states put together.
Yeah. And
so understand that.
It's a really hard job.
Yeah, it's a super hard job, and it has been getting screwed up for years, since as long as I can remember watching the news. It's been mismanaged, misbudgeted.
Yeah, so I think it's a tough job. But yeah, there may be a recall.
And Gavin Newsom, like, people do seem to hate him, but because he went to, for those who don't know, he went to a restaurant in Napa called French Laundry,
which is a very famous restaurant.
Supposed to be one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
Michelin star rated.
Is it?
Yeah.
Have you been?
Is it?
I haven't been, but it's like one of the highest Michelin.
You've heard of.
Thomas Keller. He makes a really good
now
roasted chicken.
Does this food, is Is this artistic food or is it filling food?
It's filling food.
Oh,
It's
good.
like New American, like farm to table kind of stuff.
Yeah, see, people just aren't going to forget that. And
What
if you
happened,
wouldn't,
though?
Actually, oh, I'm sorry, it's French.
Gavin
but
Newsom, when all the restrictions happened and you weren't supposed to.
He went to a dinner that was
at the
too
French
many
Laundry.
people.
Yeah,
in
too
a
many
private
people,
room.
not in his household.
Yeah.
Not in his
And
household.
he knew as soon as he was sitting down, he was like,
I shouldn't hear you.
This is going to be bad.
Dude, okay. If we're talking about things that Gavin Newsom shouldn't have done in his life, how about sleeping with his campaign manager's wife? How about doing nothing about homelessness in San Francisco? I don't know. This guy has a track record. I think this.
Wow. So tell me the campaign. You told me this once before. Tell me this again.
That's all it was. He was just campaigning for a new term, and he was sleeping with the campaign manager's wife the whole time. And, when it came out, the campaign manager quit.
I mean, there have been a lot of politicians caught doing stupid things. Like, wasn't the mayor of Austin, like, posted a video about staying home and he was, like, on vacation in Mexico? It's like...
Well, you're in Austin. It's not that far, like,
I don't
from
know.
Mexico.
I'm saying a lot of people have been caught. It's a shitty situation. There's no good way to manage it.
Kyrie Irving was seen at a birthday party this weekend. 15 people.
Yes, Kyrie Irving for the Brooklyn Nets just has decided not to show up, point guard for the Brooklyn Nets. And he had some type of party at his place. Someone recorded it and posted it.
I mean, there's like some social media doctor who was caught at a boat party in Miami with no mask on, and he got a lot of flack for
a
that.
social media doctor.
Oh, yeah, he's
The worst.
the worst.
Oh, it's like a step down from Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
Now, do social media doctors, is that worse than like a Grey's Anatomy doctor?
I think it depends on the social media doctor, because there are some that are like
As a doctor,
influencers in scrubs who don't actually practice anymore, and then there are some who like are trying to gain a following and are practicing physicians and give good advice. So I would
as a
separate.
doctor,
I
would
never
you
wanna
rather
be-
have a fugazi social media doctor work on you or an actor doctor?
I mean, I'll still take the social media doctor. They have
Really?
some real training. Yeah, what the TV
Well, I don't
doctor's
know.
just gonna like give me their headshot.
What if it's George Clooney?
How bad is my injury?
I'd let George Clooney operate on
He
me.
did a bunch of research.
Is
for
it
the
like?
role.
Yeah,
Is it like?
That guy lives and breathes the role. Like I
Yeah,
totally.
He's very methods. I mean, he knows.
Yeah, if
We'll
it's
let you have him.
absolutely,
do your stitches
totally.
first.
I'll go down that way. What do you got
luck.
next, doctor?
Okay, our favorite guest,
Oh, this
Florida
is
man,
Wonderful.
is getting sued for not paying up after betting that Trump would win the election. So these two guys were, I guess, acquaintances. Florida man is from St. Petersburg, and his friend was a Biden supporter from Atlanta. Biden guy says, if Trump wins, you pay $100. If Biden wins, you pay me $100. And so with all the election questioning, he was refusing to pay. And Biden supporters like, dude, it's over. Like, the court said it. That's it. And so he refused and now is getting sued.
Wow.
So
For $100?
He's asking for $100 plus $250 in court costs and $300 in interest.
$300 in interest.
Small
Yeah.
claims court.
You're not getting $300 in interest.
See, like, I just wonder what else happened. Like these.
I don't think they were really friends. I think they were
Yeah.
probably just like arguing on social media.
Yeah, there had to be.
You know?
Okay, just because this is the ridiculousness of politics, and that's why I can't wait for this to be over. I cannot wait for this chapter to turn the page on it. I cannot wait. Look, Florida man, I hope you get your money for the lost bet. That I get.
Well, it's Atlanta man.
Well,
Atlanta man.
here's the thing.
Florida
yeah,
man
getting
is
sued.
absconding with the.
Absconding, excuse me.
But Brian-
Atlanta man.
Brian, you deal with shady bookies all the time. I feel like you would be
I hate. Yeah, that's why I don't like them scamming them on the bet. But, oh, man, I got to tell you.
You could take some people to small claims court.
Yeah, I got to tell you, like, the path.
Or not so small claims court.
Yeah, the path of going through the court system is
painful.
Yeah.
So is the court system really going to handle this $400,
I mean, it made it to the
$500?
Associated Press, so it's...
Well, you
It's
know, it's
somewhere.
also like there's not a lot of it's Trump and the other news, like a lot of missing, not a lot of news.
Well, I think our last story
COVID, Trump.
is,
Oh yes, our
really
last story is my
wonderful.
favorite. Let's do it, Doctor.
and this is the Dr. Abby special.
Let's
of
do
the
it.
week.
Yes.
So the Journal of the Academy of Consultation Liaison Psychiatry published a case report where a 30-year-old man was hospitalized after injecting himself with tea that he made from magic mushrooms. And the fungus started to grow in his bloodstream. So just disclaimer, do not inject anything into your bloodstream ever.
Holy.
Because I have seen the sickest people in my life have taken random things and injected it with, you know, there was this one guy who took a syringe of his own blood mixed with heroin, put it in the freezer, defrosted it later, and then injected it.
To save the heroin?
I don't know if he was just trying to, like, you know, conserve, but
Conserve.
he was one of the sickest people I've ever seen in my entire life because he was just 90% bacteria at that point.
So did the shrooms start? Did the shrooms start
you
growing?
can get fungal infection in your bloodstream. It's called fungemia. And so let's go through this story.
Yes, please do.
He was bipolar, depressed, and dependent on opioids. And he saw some news that microdosing LSD and psilocybin could help treat these conditions. He went off of his bipolar maintenance medications and then somehow thought that injecting the mushrooms was a better way to take them, maybe because he was injecting opiates. And so he was like, oh, I'll just do the same thing and it'll help me more. And he was found by his family jaundiced, vomiting, confused, vomiting blood.
Wow.
He had kidney failure, respiratory failure, acute liver injury.
Bad news.
And in septic shock in the ICU. His blood was growing a very strange bacteria I've never heard of, and basically psilocybin mushrooms.
Oh my! Did he die?
He is still alive.
That's crazy.
Well, because
He's on prolonged antibiotics, but I would not have been surprised if he died.
they're harvesting the mushrooms. You got to keep them.
Yeah.
Got to keep the
So
money train rolling.
He has become the grower.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
okay.
But yeah.
This story, I have to admit, I found it troubling because this is obviously a sick person.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
um,
Very sad.
and I think maybe mushrooms could have helped.
If he had eaten them.
Yeah, but the thing where my empathy stops is the fact that it's like I don't have any tattoos for a reason. I don't like needles touching my, like, if you get off on needles, some people get off on that. And maybe the dude just has a thing.
Well, I think as someone who is opioid dependent, he may have just extrapolated that, like, it works better when I inject it than when I eat it. So I think he just tried to use that non-logic. You can't apply logic usually with biology. It doesn't work that way.
Really?
Yeah, like when you try to tease things out, biology is so complex. It just doesn't lend itself to that. That's why medicine, we do trials and, you know, there's so much that we don't understand. So, like, even if we know X, Y, then Z, there's so many things in between that we may not fully understand that we can't say. Because, like, even with physiology, there are things that in medicine that we know, oh, this should work this way, but it doesn't when we look at it. That's why it's evidence-based medicine, because you don't recommend things until you can prove it.
So it was shroom tea that
Yeah,
he injected?
he injected the tea. Just
That's
drink
nice.
it.
At least he made a nice tea. you
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Well, why make tea to inject
Yeah,
it?
I mean, just put it in there
No,
straight.
like puree it. I don't know.
well, I don't know what form he thought your blood could handle. Because when you take opioid, you can just put opioids in your blood?
I think the way that they prepare it is they take the powder and they put it in maybe a little bit of liquid. I don't know if it's water, and then they heat it up on a spoon and then suck it up and then inject it.
So just like
And I know this from like train spotting, not from.
Oh, well,
I was like, I also know this too. From
train spotting.
Oh, I thought maybe from the hospital or something.
I mean, I did find a heroin needle under someone once after we moved them, and I was like, oh, he's been injecting in the middle of the ER.
I've seen many heroin addicts in San Francisco. There's literally just clinics where you can go in and get clean needles whenever you need them.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's clinics here where you can get clean needles.
Well,
let's take a trip.
No, thank you.
Well, I have to say,
a lot of disclaimers on today's episode.
now this is a real news show.
The fact that we have to say it so many times.
You get jokes.
You sound like Trump saying that he's stable.
Yeah,
you're like, this is a real news.
And I won on my first time.
Genius.
Stable genius.
Stable, very stable genius.
Maybe you should play him in one of the documentaries.
Because I get asked, is it a serious news show? Are you trying to do like happy news? I was like, no, I'm trying to do the news, but things that get swept under the rug, things that people don't normally hear about or see because, you know, they're inundated with a lot of nonsense. So I try to at least give the no spin zone another try. You know, it didn't work out.
We should invite Bill O'Reilly.
It didn't work out the first time.
I would definitely talk to Bill O'Reilly.
I think we should invite him. You know, post-COVID, I think he would accept.
Yeah, his
doesn't
numbers
look
are
like
down.
he's doing anything else.
You know, it's not like I'm doing anything else. You know, it's like, come on, Bill. Right?
Open invitation.
I'll play us out, I suppose, with the news theme. You know, this is
instead of the.
Yeah, well, because now I feel like it's all
played out.
Yeah. Abby says it's played out.
Oh, I like spooky stuff.
Yeah, but it's like,
if there are any listeners who would like to donate $29.95 for us to purchase a new track.
Well, I don't know what the cost is. That was a pricier one. I think I should be able to get a good opening song for $8 to
subscribe and comment
$8
below.
to $12. Sure. Yeah, comment. Sure. A few of you do.
Just a theme song.
Well, that's not how it works.
Why not?
Because you don't have to buy the rights to this.
Well, maybe give us a recommendation and then we'll look at the price.
Well, this is terrible.
Yeah,
idea.
this is a collaborative effort.
All right, this has been the Brian Moreno Show.